Okay. If anyone can hear this is pretty much the first stream I'm doing forever. So I'm really hoping that it works. In case it doesn't work, Slack me because we're right in the chat. So I just also wanted to say why I decided to do this format now. And the reason is because I don't have time to really edit videos, and there are so many questions in the forums regarding different topics. I always thought it's really important to keep the forum alive to answer questions right away, because for newcomers that's super important, and also because if we have a live community, then we can have also responsive contributors. So really that's the reason behind this. So the idea is that I'm gonna try to do this more often, and if this is the last one, that only happens because it was really not successful. But let's hope that we can all have fun here. And I'm gonna try to bring topics which requires a little bit of cooperation, which means you can ask questions, I try to answer, and if I misunderstand you, then you can clarify what you want. So you can anytime drop here something in the chat, which I'm so gonna find here somewhere because I hid it. So I apologize about lambing around. Thanks for the feedback, Ruth. So I can see the chat. Amazing. Okay. So for today's topic is actually emails. I want to show you a little bit more about how to set the speed for email. Is it completely back screen or my face is visible? No screen share. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's on purpose. I have some stuff already set up, and I also want everyone to get the reading glasses. So I want to talk about email speed and the whole setup and how everything works, because this is coming up in the forum pretty often. So just drop questions if you think that that's something you want to know about email speed, or it's for your specific case, it's important. Then let's talk about it. I'm actually planning to send out a couple of emails today, a couple of thousand emails. Let's hope so. And we can together go through how the email sending speed is regulated in Mautic and what is connected with what. So I'm going to turn on the screen share as well. So you can't use the chat. Someone is writing. Martin, thanks for the feedback. I'm not sure why. I will try to do some settings here in the background, but let's just turn on my other. Okay, it's fixed. Great. Yeah, please try to keep this two ways, the conversation. I really like that. It's so different than editing my videos. They are really boring, by the way, when I edit them. So I like this kind of format better already. But anyway, this is for people who have lots of time. Okay, let's talk about emails. And I have a Mautic here. I have already emails set up, 2 emails set up, so I want to send those out. But I wanted to show you a little bit what really happens in the background and what the different commands are doing. This particular Mautic is a Mautic 5, so I'm going to live test the Mautic 5 today. It's connected with SES. I also have Redis Q installed on this one because it's a pretty big one. I have 1.5 million or 1.6 million contacts in this one. And there's lots of optimization happening in the background, but the email sending is pretty vanilla. So we're going to check it out. Why I'm using black screen sometimes? Because I know that YouTube doesn't like if we are sharing personal information. So whenever I feel that there's lots of emails appearing on the screen, I need to black it out. Otherwise, they're gonna block the stream and take off my video as well. So I just want to look into the settings for a moment to show you what I'm using here. So in this particular setup, I have a Mautic SES, and I installed the e-tailers plugin. The e-tailers plugin is I think the best SES plugin you can find right now. It does the send and also does the feedback loop, so you can have both. Not all plugins are like that. There are plugins which only do the feedback loop, so they take care of the different bounces and complaints coming in, but the e-tailers one is actually managing also the send. You can see it because there is a emails. I think it's a email factory folder in the GitHub repo, so you can be sure that it's actually sending. It's pretty powerful. It has some extra features as well, which you might want to strip down, but maybe we're gonna have some time to talk about that as well. So this is pretty vanilla setup. I have here my user, my password, it's Mautic SES API, and all I installed is the SES plugin. I didn't install any transport or whatsoever. If you don't know what the Symfony transports are, there's something what you install in the vendor folder, and you make Symfony capable of sending emails via SES as well. Then check out my videos. It's how email sending works in Mautic 5. I think that's the name of the video, and you can see more information about that. But today I really want to talk about speed and stuff. So this is pretty vanilla. Let's look at the queue settings. So in the queue I have doctrine default. So what does this here mean? While in Mautic 4, when an email was sent, a file was created, and it was placed in the var spool folder. So as many emails you created, as many files were created as well. One email, one file. You cannot do that in Mautic 5 anymore, or it's not recommended. So we are using a database for that, and it's gonna be a lot faster, and we will see that soon how this actually works. Why is this cool? Because the database is reacting a lot faster. You don't have any more file system constraints in terms of saving the file somewhere, and it's just a lot faster as well. Like for example, it could happen before that you had your Mautic and the file system was just mounted, so there was a lot of latency between your file system and Mautic itself. So it took really long time to pull those emails. Most of the time was wasted on that, but it's no longer like that. You can have everything saved in the database, and we are going to talk about it in a couple minutes, how that looks and how it's done and why is it important. So I have here doctrine default, which means my emails are not going out right away. They are saved in the database, and I am sending them out with an extra command. I also have here a Mautic database. So I have here all my assets and everything. And we are going to watch here the messenger messages. This is the table which is very important for us here. This is super important. We're gonna place all the emails here. So let's just see the whole process, how the emails are landing here and how they're sent out. So we're gonna go command line. But before we do that, I already stopped the cron jobs in this particular Mautic, but now I'm gonna send out the emails themselves. So I have here, let's start with this one, email task 696. I'm going to set this up for the future, for the past as a test email. Sorry, I have to turn off the screen because I don't want accidentally show some kind of sensitive information and then cut the whole stream is off. So I'm going to send this. It's very important that you set it as a scheduled email. So here I'm also making sure that the starting the sending is in the past and the end is in the future. So I have this, it's a broadcast email. So if my crons would be working, it would be sent out immediately. Let's look at my crons. How does it look like by me? So I'm here in the Mautic folder. I have my cron jobs here, so I can actually show you what I have set up. I have Mautic crons. So this is actually what does all the sending, the management, and the sending itself is going to be here. That's the Mautic runs emails. I have two. Why is that? Actually, let me explain this why I have two. In case this is not clear for someone, I really want to make sure that we're covering all the crons. So this is how my cron jobs cron setup normally looks like. I have here my default folder. That's my Mautic folder. I don't have priorities anymore. I used to do it because I had the impression that it makes sense to assign priority to certain commands. I don't do that anymore. So this is my campaign rebuild. This is my segment update. This is my campaigns trigger, import, webhooks report. So if we look the first three, these are the ones which making Mautic work. These are the heartbeat of Mautic. You create your segments. The segments will pull in. The contacts will be pulled into segments. Into campaigns by the campaigns rebuild, and the campaigns trigger is the one which is actually executing the campaign steps. So the right order should be, like, if you want things happening like pretty fast, then it should be like this, because then the first step is always you create the segment activates the person in the campaign, it being pulled in, and then you are triggering it. And don't worry about batch limits, we're gonna test this out. Honestly, I also don't remember what these do, so okay, I do, but we're gonna take a look together. I didn't turn off import. I could have turned it off. I'm not using webhooks here, don't have any reports, and I turned this off as well, the broadcast send and the consume email. I turned them off both. Why? Because I have another script for that, and that's my Mautic run emails. And it looks like this right now. So I have here the broadcast send, where I have batch 3 limit 150, and I have consume email. So let's see what these individual commands do. Actually, the broadcast send should be the one which takes all the emails which are eligible to be sent, and the consume email is the one which is emptying out our messenger table. So what we do is the broadcast will push them into the messenger table, and the messenger table will empty them out. By the way, I am keeping an eye on the chat, so drop questions if you have any. So to make sure I'm covering everything. Okay, so let's do step by step here. Let's a little bit look at this broadcast command. So how does it look like? It looks like this, Mautic broadcast send. And you can always have more information about what does this do by executing this. So I'm gonna do here, this is in my doc root, I believe. No, it's not. It's in my bin console, and this is the command. So let's ask for help. What can it do? It's always very good to read these because you can have amazing information. So we have here channel, we have minimum contact, maximum contact. These two are working in a way that it's actually looking for a set of IDs. So if you running multiple broadcast commands at the same time, you can set ID ranges. So it would only pull in those. You can have limit how many contacts to load from the database to the process. And batch, limit how many messages to send at once. Okay, so these two are the most important one, because you can create these batches really fast, but imagine this way, that the limit will tell you how many emails you're sending, and the batch will tell you how many emails you put together in one package and post it in our database. Okay, so let's see how that actually works. So let's do here, I'm gonna do a limit equals 10, and then let's see what happens there. So it pulled out my email test 696. It processed 5,927 emails, which is not true. Actually, didn't process so many. It just tells me that, by the way, so many is in there. And it sent out this email, 10 of them. So let's look into the database. How does it look in the database? How does that look like when I list this? Okay, so what I have here is I have just one line. I have one line in my database. Where are my 9 emails? So the thing is that in Mautic there is such a thing as default batch size. So if I don't define my batch, which I didn't, I didn't say here how many I have in one batch, it is going to put as many as my default batch size is. So let's change this a little bit and say also batch. It's written batch, right? Let's do batch 1. So I want 1 email in 1 package. Let's see what happens then. Okay. Looks the same, right? Sent out 10 emails. But let's see what arrives in our database. Remember, we're not sending out anything at all, because right now we're just spooling them. Okay, so this is different. Now I have 11 lines. In the first one, in this line, I have 10 emails in one batch. And in these, I have 1 email. I could look into these if I really wanted to expose some personal data, which I don't want to. So let's just believe me, there's 10 emails in here and 1 in each of these. So how can we send these out? So let's do that now. That's our other command. So let's look at it together. It's the consume email. And I also have a time limit here. But like I said before, the best is to check out the help. Let's see what we can do. We can do a bunch of things. Mautic is talking here about receivers and channels and topics and queues and bus. We're not going to go into all of them, but we're going to check out this limit. Limit the number of received messages. So here really the question is, what does the limit refer to? Is the limit a line here? So that would be like 10 here. Or, so the question is it one line, like limit how many lines we're processing? Or it is how many emails are we processing? That is the question. So let's try it out. Let's do here, we have here limit. So let's do that. Consume help, limit equals 1. So let's see what happens there. Okay, so something happened and we can actually not, so we cannot see the emails which I'm sending out because these are real emails. If I wanted to test, probably I would get them in Mailhog or something, but I want to test how the emails are actually sent out. So these are real emails with real sends to real people with real offers. So I have no way of telling if it arrived, but we can check here our list and it's still 11. So I still have 11 emails here, but I sent out 1. How is that possible? It's possible because remember the first one, which we are first to make disappear, there's supposed to be 10 emails. Because in the first batch, I sent out 10 emails and we only had 1 line appearing. So it means there must be 10 emails in there. So if I would do here now 10, we could see what would happen. And that definitely runs a little bit longer. So let's see what happens here in the background. Oops. Email is nicely disappearing. And all the emails disappeared besides 1. Okay, so actually I can tell you what happened there. So Mautic processes, in my opinion, 1 line per limit. And before we didn't see any because it just processed 9. And then afterwards there was 1 left over. There's this 1 extra email which is kind of like always stuck. It's a little bit confusing, but let's do another test to see how it actually works. So let's do a batch of 10 and let's send out 100 emails. So we're supposed to have 100 lines here, 10 lines here, right? Let's do this. Let's send out those emails. And by the way, I believe our emails is being sent out really nicely. So let's look here. Yep, we have 120 emails sent. 0 opened yet. Okay, so we sent 100 emails. That was kind of fast, by the way. So I'm happy that This is happening really fast. And I have here 11 rows. Of course, 11 because I already had one, and now we have 10. So now, let's try to send out 5 limit. What happens then? How many emails we'll be sending out? Okay. 6. So from 11, we got down to 6. So what really happened here is the limit means lines. So right now we sent out 50 emails. So let's try to send out a little bit more. Let's do, I'm happy with the batch 10, but let's do here 200 emails. You know what? Let's first send out all the emails so we have a really clear picture here. And the best way to send these out is if we are setting a time limit on that. But I was wondering how long it takes to send out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, or in other words, 60 emails. Let's check the help. How can we set the time limit? So there is I'm in the wrong one. Why no one is telling me? Okay. So time limit in seconds. So what I want to do here is time limit. Let's do 3 seconds this time. So let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. What happens in 3 seconds? How many emails did we send out? So we send out 3 lines, which is 30 emails. Okay. Let's do now 5 seconds. Hopefully everything will disappear. Done. 3 seconds. We needed only 3 seconds to send out those 30 emails. So if we now a little bit calculate, basically our Mautic is sending out 1 line per second. So if I want to send out 50 emails in 10 seconds, I need 5 email batches, which is going to generate 10 lines, and in 10 seconds I can send them out. This is how you scale with Mautic, and that's why I wanted to make this stream, because I wanted to make sure that you understand that there's a correlation between how you prepare the emails and how you are sending them out, how fast you are sending them out. Yes, Ray, very good question. Is it a good practice to set up Messenger consumer service daemon? That's what I have. Also within while do loop with the sleep time. Okay, so you can do that. I have it in my cron. Like, you're actually achieving the same thing. If you have a service daemon which restarts every minute, then you can pretty much have the same. But yeah, it's very good. In fact, if you look at my cron job, my email cron, let's see, I do something similar here. You see, I have time limit 50 seconds because I want a good server rest for 10 seconds and dream about electric ships. Because the thing is that it's not exact, so it's gonna, it also needs like 1-2 seconds to start, and sometimes 1 second longer. So I gave it a little bit of break of 50 seconds, and anyway, of 10 seconds, and anyway, it's good to keep a little bit of time off at the end. Okay, so yeah, I definitely recommend the daemon, and I recommend to use this setting every minute for 50 seconds. You can also do it like every 15 minutes, and then you set up the equivalent of 15 minutes in seconds. That's also perfectly fine, but I also use this. If you go on my website, I have a working setup how to set up this daemon. All right, let's do another test. Let's see how fast we can send out stuff. Yes, my cron runs every minute. My cron runs every minute. There's a question here from Ray. Is your cron running every minute? Yes, and why is that? So the thing is that I want things happen fast. And if you look at this, so I don't want to have too many crons. I want to have one for everything and one for email. I want to have one for everything because I want that the segments are refreshing every minute. Because I want a fast-paced Mautic. Even if I have 1.6 million contacts, I want to have a very fast-paced Mautic. If something happens, I want a reaction right away because this is what people expect. They are expecting that you are sending out confirmation right away. You're expecting that you are notifying another connecting system right away. And with emails, it's pretty much the same. If I want that an email starts exactly at the minute when the customer wants to send it out, then I need a per minute cron job. What happens if the cron is busy? I mean, the command is busy because I am rebuilding the segments right now. Nothing. It just says, it's busy right now, bypass with the force flag. And that's it. So if you go right, so Ray is writing that he has every 15 minutes. That's the default setting in the Mautic tutorials or in the Mautic docs. Why? That's a little bit historical because when Mautic was a brand new thing, or how can I say, newer thing, then the person who wrote the documentation, and I, by the way, completely agree with this, figured that the safest way to make sure that you are not running two things at the same time is if you have staggered launching of your crons. So you would start with the cron, with the segment, okay, you run it, 5 minutes later you start with something else. So pretty much your cron job would look like 15, 30, 45, 00 for segments in terms of minutes, which minute of the hour you're starting. Then for the next one you would have like 5, 20, 35 and so on. So this way you have like a 5-minute difference between them. But I think it is a lot better to do in a way that, like I am doing here, just running this command. Because here, like, not all segments are recalculated all the time. If you have no changes, why you wouldn't change that yourself? So if for example I have a bunch of new contacts coming in, my segment update will be busy, but maybe my campaign is not starting, so this one and this one will not launch at all. So there are some comments in the chat. We can always update the recommendation of the documentation. So here's the thing, what Ruth is saying, that Mautic is open source, which means everyone is welcome to contribute. And we went with the safest option in the Mautic documentation, and that's why I'm saying I agree with it completely. If you are already there, that you understand how the Mautic commands are working, then you can always fine tune it. You can always have the chance to try out things. But the most important thing is you understand what you're doing. It's very easy to crash Mautic with the wrongly set up cron jobs. I want to show you something here. I did have some example issues. Let me check. Just 1 second. Yeah, this is one. I'd like to come here back in the forums. So if this guy had excellent question, he wanted to send certain emails. So you see what he's having here. He is launching multiple sends. This is still Mautic 4, but the example is perfect. So he's like, okay, so this is how I send one email. Why don't I send like, a bunch of them, and then I'm gonna be really fast. And what he did, he crashed his server. So what he did here is that he was sending out so many emails at the same time that he exceeded his email sending rate. And this is something what you want to avoid. So that's why I'm saying that you should know what you're doing when you are setting up the cron. And that's why we went, we as Mautic, we went with the safest recommendation. Okay, so Yeah, that's the other thing. Ray's mentioning that he went for he had some errors because he started with the cheapest EC2 uh, Amazon server. Yes, you can do that. Like you can, if you are not using the right segments, then it's segment methods, so to say, you can do that. Like there are certain segments which are like 10 times more expensive from the processing time or processing power point of view as others. Maybe worse another stream, but I really want to focus now on the email sending because there's still a lot of things to do, a lot of things I want to explain. So I want to make a normal batch. Let's send out 1,000 emails, okay? Because we need to speed up these things a little bit. Emails won't send out themselves. So let's do first. Let's put them in the broadcast, and then you will understand also how to scale a little bit better. So we said that we can limit this. So how many emails we want to process. So let's process 1,000, and maybe it's too ambitious. Oops. And let's do a batch size of batch equals. Let's put in 50. Okay, do I really want to do this? So what would that mean? That would mean that I would have 10 lines in my Mautic, and in the 10 lines, each line would have 50 emails. So when I'm processing it, I'm processing 50 emails per second. Can my Mautic do that? Of course, it will send it out, no problem. I could scale this better. You know what? Let's send out all 50,000 emails like this. I'm just going to make 10 lines and send out 50,000 emails in a couple of seconds. Okay, so we will not do that. And the reason is because this would absolutely get my SES account killed immediately, because I would have 5,000 emails in one line. I'm not even sure that my database can handle it. Plus, I would process this in 1 second with one batch sent towards Mautic, and it would pretty much kill my account right away. So let's just stay on the safe side. If I can send out 14 emails per second, it's a little bit more for this account, but let's assume. And I'm processing 1 line per second. Then the safest bet would be this. So let's do an equal number here. Let's do 280. Okay. Okay. So let's process that. And you see how nicely it's processing. 280 emails, beautifully put in our message queue. Look at that. 20 beautiful rows. So the math is kind of coming together. And now we want to send this out. So I wonder how long it's going to take. And we can actually measure this. We can measure this different ways. We can set a time limit. And I say it will be around 20 seconds, approximately. So let's try that. So I'm running now this for 20 seconds. And I can see the emails disappearing, nicely being sent out. Just refresh here. 16, 14, 13. I measured this. It's pretty much 1 line per second, plus minus 1 or 2, but it's kind of 1 line per second. Okay, I got 3 lines here. So that means that in average, I'm processing about 1 line per second. So when somebody asks, how can you scale? This is how you can scale. You can set the right batch size and the right limits, and then have your Messenger consume email just run all the time. So as long as you are having here the right batch sizes, your email sending will be the perfect speed. So how can I do this slower? That could be the other question. By the way, I'm gonna check. Like, this is really a real send. Okay, people are opening it. We are fine. So how can I send this slower? Before I continue, I'm gonna just MTR Q. Okay, this is gone. So how can you send slower? Well, the trick is that you have to go down to the minimum of batch size and the email limits. So if you are like you can play around here as much as you want by the consume email. It's not gonna be useful. What you well, yeah. So again, yes, it can be useful. So let's see the commands. but I like to do it the other way around. But let's see the command. So you can have limit how many number of messages are sent, which is actually the equivalent of lines processed in the queue. Let's do another example. And then you will see that pretty much we have the same just from the other side. Okay, so I have the 280 emails again. I'm supposed to have the 14 lines, 20 lines, yeah, exactly. By the way, watch this because you can really easily overload your database. So that's also very important that you are watching this. So I have the 20 lines, but let's set a limit this time for the consume. So we have here limit, and that's what we want. So let's do limit equals 5. And you will see how fast it's sending out. Oh yeah, I forgot what I want to consume. Very important. We're not eating anything, we're eating the emails. Okay. So let's see how fast it's going to send out those 5 lines. And while it's sending it out, I also wanted to say that this is not an official stream from Mautic. I'm at no way official capacity. But I'm also a member of the Mautic community. I'm actually member. It means I'm paying for membership because Mautic is open source software. So you can also be a member. You can pay $5 a month, whatever you want. And you can be a member, and that also gives you voting rights. Assembly is coming up, and you can decide Mautic's future as well if you have the voting rights. And it also makes sense to be a member because this is the way to express your appreciation for the tool, which is actually amazing. I think Mautic is the best kept secret in the marketing world. So what have we done? Yeah, again, actually 4 rows are gone. For some reason, there's one email being stuck in this row. I don't know why, but it should be 5 rows gone, 4 rows are gone. Believe me, besides one email, we sent out everything here. Actually, you should check it out. Why is this bug? But the thing is that we can say 5 rows are gone. So this limit means that we are processing those 5 rows there. So let's do now 16 rows. And back to the topic of being a Mautic member, it makes sense because not only the voting rights, but you can also make amazing connections between members. So you can, if you're a Mautic member, you have the privilege of voting, but also you are showing the interest, the long-term interest in this tool. And I also feel that people are helping you out a little bit more, or people are looking at you a little bit differently if you're a Mautic member because they know that this is your business, you are serious about this stuff, and this is how we're supporting ourselves. Like other tools have something behind them, like WordPress has Automatic, Magento has Adobe. They have a huge company behind them. Mautic has no one, which is actually pretty cool because we are on our own and we can decide our own fate. That's a privilege, in my opinion, which comes with its own challenges. But it's really democracy is happening in the open source framework. You can also see where your money is going with Mautic. Not to me, I can guarantee that. But it's used for making the software better. So if you make money with it, it makes sense to be a Mautic member. Okay, so this is right now processing the my queue. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, it's already done. Interestingly, it did not stop. Email limit. Why it didn't stop? This is a very good question. You see how I had to stop it? It did not stop because it processed the 16 lines, and there wasn't 16 lines. There was only 15. So it was waiting for that one extra line in the background. Okay, so let's talk about slowing down everything a little bit. Let's go back to our Chrome tabs. Chrome tab. These are my email processing Chrome, which I'm running every minute. So let's look at it together. What runs here every minute? every minute is running for me that I create 150 emails in 3 email batches, and then I send out 50. So how could we slow this down actually? Let's talk about this a little bit. If I want to go down to the very minimum, like the slowest possible, would be batch 1, limit 1. Then I'm just sending out 1 email. How often? 1 email per minute. I'm generating actually, and the next command sends it out right away, and then waits. Basically what happens is that sends out that 1 email in 1 second and then waits for another 49. How can I be even slower than that? So if this is my setting in my cron, the only way to slow this even more is if I'm not executing this so often. So let's look at my cron tab here. So if I want to slow this down, it would be something like every 10 minutes, which is */10. So if I run this every 10 minutes, that runs 6 times per minute. So I'm sending 6 emails per minute this way. And you see, this is why I separated it, because sometimes I also want to slow down. I want to make sure that my emails are sent out with a lot slower pace. So that's why I have it in a different cron. I am not running my consume email less often, because I want to control the speed on the email generation part, not in the email sending part. But that also comes with the problems, and I would like to talk about that because there are multiple forum comments which are asking about this thing. So just one more thing I wanted to say, how to do this even less often. So you can set once per hour. So you could say here /1. Once per hour would be like this. So it's running once an hour. And then you can slow it down even more, that you send out every 2 hours. I don't think it makes sense, but you can slow down like that. So if you set your email cron to 1 email per cycle, and then you call this very rarely, then this is how you send out the email generation. But this only works for the broadcast emails. And this is the only, like I'm all the time talking about the broadcast emails. These ones. Let's see if anyone opened it. Very nice. So no one is, like, we haven't talked about the campaign emails yet. Why not? Because that is a complete different type of animal. So let me go into it a little bit. So I'm gonna open here a campaign. Let's launch. Okay. So I have here my campaign builder. Let's send out some emails. Okay, I want to send out an email. Send an email. And let's choose an email here. I'm gonna set, let's do this one. Email 1. And it's a transactional email. Okay, normal priority. So usually this is a very simple campaign, but usually our campaigns look different than this. The reason is because we are using campaigns because we want to do more stuff. Like otherwise, I could simply send this out as a broadcast email. So probably my campaign looks completely different. So for example, I'm looking here for a contact field value. Let's say address line contains, I don't know, London. Okay. And then maybe I'm also checking points. Contact points greater than 100. Okay. And then I'm sending out the email. And then maybe I have some other actions here. For example, I'm giving points here. Obviously it doesn't make sense. But let's say I'm doing this. Okay. So I have this type of campaign. And then here I'm doing another condition. Looking again for points. Don't look for the system here. This is not I just want to show you something here, very important, and why it's challenging to manage the email flow from the campaign point of view. So let's send out another email. I don't know, let's do this one. Okay, so I have this campaign here. Not too smart campaign, but whatever. Okay, so let's go back a little bit to our cron, and let's see how it would behave if we would execute the commands one by one. Like I said, all these things which are happening in the campaign, including the segment membership, is being managed by one of my scripts. So in particular this one, updating the segments, rebuilding the campaign, and making the trigger. Want to look into this a little bit better, and it's all gonna make sense in a moment. So I want to do PHP bin console this minus 1. Okay, so these are the things what I can do. So the issue here is that if I have a campaign, people are added to the segment here. That's done by my first segment update. Then they are pushed into this campaign, what we see here. That's done by the campaign update or campaign rebuild. It's the same. And you are moved forward by the campaign trigger command, one by one. So how it works in the background is that Mautic takes a list of all the contacts who qualify to be the member of the campaign or in the campaign, checks out what's the next executable action for them, which can be executed. So what's the next action which can be executed, where there is so-called no resistance. I love this expression. I think I got it from Leon, from Lightfire. Thank you, Leon. So Mautic does until there is no resistance. So in this case, it would check this out, decide here immediately if this person is in London, then move to the next one, check the points immediately and moves to the next one, and send out an email. So in my case, these are the three actions which would be executed. Resistance means if I would do something like decision. So I'm waiting for someone to download an asset. I don't have assets. So decision would be like opens an email. Okay. Come on. Yeah, let's do device visit. Come on. Yeah, I can't even do that because that actually it's stupid that it comes up. Maybe it's a bug. It should be only after a page visit. So maybe I have visits a page. That's the best. Visits my robot page. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not sure why it doesn't work. But the point is that resistance is like decisions basically. So when we have to wait to execute something, and then it's checked every cycle. But now this one would go here. So why I'm saying is that because here I have three actions happening in the background at the same time. So Mautic performs these actions one by one and doesn't really care if it's an email sending, is it adjusting points. It doesn't really matter for Mautic. It's one action each. Which brings us back to this, that if I want to send out an email, let's say I am broadcast sending 280 emails in batch of 14. So I can create here in my table those lines which contains 14 emails in order to fast send, because I'm sending fast if I'm concurrently at the same time processing 14 emails. So I have 14 emails per second speed. I can do it with this command, with the broadcast, but I cannot do it with a campaign action. It's impossible. And the reason for that is because there are all kinds of actions happening. Like Mautic cannot say that, oh yeah, put this also among the other 13, so you have a 14 batch, and if it's already 14, then start a new one. You cannot say that. It's gonna put one line for every single email, and there is no setting for that. Like I can't say here, like the issue is that here the batch limit, it's how many contacts you're processing, but it doesn't mean that you create a 14 batch of emails from them. So it will be always one line per email. And that's going to result here in an email sending speed of 1 email per second. So you can't really speed that up. The only way you can speed it up, if you are not storing these messages at all, but you are sending them immediately, then you can do it, because then there is no writing in the database here, forming the email, but the email right away goes out. But this is not what you want most of the time. So the issue here is that you cannot send really fast via campaign messages. You can only send via broadcast messages. I don't know if there is any question about this, but it came up in the forums, and let me see if I can find those. It was one of these here. Nope, this is so this is this issue was setting the right test emails. So it's not that. I think the multi-thread now. Not sure that I'm gonna find it. Yeah, this is also another one. Yeah, so here this person tries to send out emails in a slower pace. So you can actually do this in a way, like the only way, if you want to send slow, yes, you can regulate the emails via the consume, because what you can do is like slow sending actually is possible. What you have to do is that in the campaign you're processing the emails as fast as possible, but you are slowing down your send. So what you would essentially do is that with the consume you would do limit of 1, and then you would only process 1 email, 1 line. And since the campaign trigger is putting 1 email into 1 line, this would help you to limit your email sending to slow, but you cannot speed it up. So the other way, it doesn't work. You cannot say that I want to put 14 emails in one batch. So what I have to say is that we definitely need some kind of solution for this. And there are many exciting things what you can do with Symfony Messenger. I'm still trying out what we can do. But the only way I can imagine this happening if you have, for example, multiple queues and you're pushing your emails into multiple queues, and then somehow you would be able to use these different queues. There is somewhere here a queues. And you have, let's say, 14 queues and you are processing them every second, or you have 40 queues and you are processing them every second. So I could imagine something like this. If someone has better ideas, then you can always comment here. Probably I will put this video also online. Okay, I think this is how much I wanted to say about queues. Thank you for watching. This is my very first stream. I have no idea how many people watched it because I don't know where to see the control. But yeah, I hope that it was useful. I think I won't even cut this. I just put it on, and if you don't like it, just fast forward. I try to be as detailed as possible, And I think the next topic, what I'm gonna do is probably the cost of segment rebuilding. Like how can we deal with huge segments, how that actually works in the background, what to watch out for. Look at a little bit under the hood. Look a little bit under the hood with Mautic, and also queue management is something what I want to talk about. MGML, email design, I think it's a very cool topic. And maybe API, and definitely which I want to talk about is testing PRs, how to do that, why to do that, and how can it actually benefit you as well. If you are a company or you are an individual who is using Mautic, why to test things and how to test it and how to find the ones which you can test. So if there are no questions here in the chat, then thank you for everyone for watching this, and I guess I see you next Thursday by the next live stream. And